Welcome to Storytime with Jason. I'm Jason, and tonight we read from the revised Aesop's Fables, The Peacock and the Crane. And this is one of the fables that, now that we're in, the 2024, I think the moral might be a little different than I think it was initially intended, but we'll discuss that after. A peacock taunted a crane with the dullness of her plumage. Okay, real quick. We're going to backtrack real quick. So a crane and peacock are both birds, and a peacock traditionally has bright colors and things like that, and a crane has like the long legs and the long neck, kind of like a swan, but a little bit bigger, and it's like a very plain colored bird. It flies around from lake to lake, and I remember seeing them growing up. So think two birds that are looking at each other. One is very colorful, one is not, and that's like laying the scene here. So, a peacock taunted a crane with the dullness of her plumage meaning feathers. "Look at my brilliant colors," the peacock said, "and see how much finer they are than your poor feathers." "Well, I'm not denying," replied the crane, "that your feathers are far prettier than mine. But when it comes to flying, I can soar in the clouds, where you are confined to the earth like a chicken." And the initial like point of this story was that just because you're beautiful doesn't mean that you're capable. And so the peacock is like, "Look, I'm really beautiful. Look how good you are. You're bad because you're not beautiful." And the crane, though, is very capable and can fly high in the sky. Oops, knocked the microphone. Can fly high in the sky and things like that. And that makes the crane better than the peacock. And the peacock is very vain and just looking at, concentrating on looks. I would say if I'm reading this to my young daughter, she's 1 year old right now. But if I'm reading this to my daughter, I would say that the moral has changed a little bit. Now it means that the moral is that, be who you are. First off, don't be like this peacock and talk down to other people. You shouldn't do that. That's not nice. And we all have our own strengths. Where the crane might not be very colorful and beautiful, the crane can fly from place to place to place to place. And yes, the peacock is unable to fly. I think it's a flightless bird, but it's very beautiful. And their peacocks are also pretty aggressive. I've been around peacocks before, and if you upset them, they're very aggressive birds. So we each have capabilities and we each have strengths that suit us, and then our job as humans in this world is to capitalize on. Our job is to know what we're good at, and yes, work very hard at what we're good at, but also know what we're not. And the crane, if the crane really wanted to be this beautiful, beautiful bird, the crane could never do that. He's not a peacock. The crane in this story is not a peacock. No matter what the crane does, the crane cannot have beautiful peacock feathers. So if the crane spent his whole life really wishing to be a beautiful peacock, he would never be able to. Likewise, with the peacock, if all the peacock wanted was to fly, and that was it, and didn't value the beautiful feathers, didn't value, unwritten in the story, but the aggression they have, well, then the peacock would just walk around thinking that they were a horrible, miserable failure. And the peacock's not. The peacock's a beautiful bird, but the peacock is not given the gift of flight. So my moral, Jason's moral here in 2024 is to blossom where you're planted, embrace your strengths, and if there's something that's just not you, that's okay. Look for the things that you are good at, and by all means try, attempt, work hard, and whether you're a peacock or a crane, enjoy life. Good night.